Good morning and welcome to everyone this morning as we launch the Northern Ireland Equality and Diversity Gala and Awards 2018. I'm delighted to be joined this morning with Barry Phillips, Chairman of Legal Ireland, who's going to fill us in on the big plans for 2018, including exciting new categories and our brand new venue. On that note, I'm going to pass straight to Barry.
Thank you very much, Kelly, and good morning to everybody, and you're very welcome to this webinar launch of the Northern Ireland Equality and Diversity Galas for 2018. Delighted to have so many joining the webinar this morning. Can I say three things right at the start? I plan to be take no more than 15 minutes this morning. I know how busy everyone is, particularly at the end of the working week, so I will be brief, I promise you. Secondly, if you want to ask a question at any point throughout the webinar, you can use the chat facility that you have at the side of your screen, but we will be having a Q&A session at the end, so if you felt you can hold on to a question right until the end, then you may like to do that. Third and finally, can I say straight away a big shout out and thank you to Tina McKenzie of Diamond Recruitment Group for agreeing to sponsor the Diversity Gala next year as well. It's been great to have Tina McKenzie's support for this event. It really has, and it's fantastic to have Diamond Recruitment contributing to this Gala Awards. Also in terms of sponsorship and partners, can I just mention that Titanic Belfast have partnered with us to be the venue sponsor. Northern Ireland Job Finder are going to be our media sponsor, and we have partnered with NICVA to put on the event for next year. There are some sponsorship opportunities still available, so if you're listening and you would like to get involved and to sponsor some aspect of the evening, then please do get in touch with us, and preferably as quickly as possible, because there are not many opportunities remaining. So if you'd like to avail of something there, then best to contact us really today. So I just wanted to summarise where we have got to with the event, and just to talk a little bit about what happened earlier this year at the inaugural Gala. This was held at Belfast City Hall, which is a beautiful venue for the inaugural event. We had some 280 people in attendance. There were 17 organisations on the night that were recognised for their great work in the area of diversity, and we had over 40 nationalities represented on the evening. It was a fabulous night. There was a tremendous vibe that many people were talking about, both on the night and afterwards. It was trending on Twitter within an hour of it starting, and received a lot of publicity both beforehand, during and after the event. A lot of photographs and material was represented and published in business magazines and magazines such as the Ulster Tatler. So a huge success for the first time out with the event. And what about the objectives for the one coming up in March of next year? Well, the objectives are to mark and to celebrate the diversity that we now have in Northern Ireland. I feel it's really important with this event to put down a marker and to say, look how far we've come over the last 20 or 30 years with diversity in Northern Ireland, but also to take a moment to look ahead and to work out where we need to go next. Another objective is to recognise the employers that are doing some great work in the diversity space, and the third is to encourage greater circulation of people that perhaps may not normally go to a dinner or to a business event. And each year we reserve a number of tables for community groups, and it's really good to get a good mix of different people on the night, and the sort of diversity that is now reflected in Northern Ireland. On the night, what's it going to look like? Well, the venue is the Titanic Suite, and we've moved the Gala Awards to the Titanic because it was clear last year that we needed a bigger venue. Belfast City Hall is great, but it just wasn't really big enough for us. All the tables had sold out by December of last year, so we've moved it to a bigger place which has at least, I think, another 10, 12 tables, and therefore we'll be able to accommodate more people. It's taking place on the 23rd of March, and it will be hosted by the redoubtable Sarah Travers, who's just a fabulous host. And you can expect on the night, obviously, the awards element of the gala, but there's going to be some really great entertainment on the evening. There's going to be a speaker on a diversity issue and videos on the topic as well. So, who do we think will want to attend the gala? We think it'll be employers who just want to say a big thank you to their staff, or to clients, or to customers. We'll obviously be expecting employers who have entered in for an award to be represented on the evening. There'll be organisations wanting to network in different channels, and there'll also be the community groups that will be there as well. During the event this year, I had there's a VIP guest that came up to me about halfway through the gala, and he said to me with a very straight face, he said, "Barry, I'm looking round and there's really not many people I know," and it sounded like he was making a complaint, and then he just broke out into a smile, and he said, "And that tells me that you've got it right." And he said, "Well done." And it was very nice to hear that, because I suppose one of our undeclared objectives was on the night to be able to look around and think, okay, this doesn't look like your conventional business dinner or night out. And I certainly felt, and a lot of people said that to me, that looking around it just looked like a very, very different event indeed. There was plenty of colour, people were in national dress, and it just looked like a very different type of evening. So what about the awards themselves? Well, this year we're doing something which is really quite different, and I think especially we're really excited about this. We're doing the same award, more or less, that we did last year, which was the Best Employer for Northern Ireland in Equality and Diversity. And last year that award category was won by Pinsent Masons, by Queen's University, and by Helm Housing. This year we're actually not dividing the category into public sector, private and third sector, but we're bringing them all together in one big category, although we are subdividing it into large employers and small employers. So that's a difference compared with how we did it for earlier this year. But it's clearly a big one, and it's one that I know a lot of employers listening will want to win. Then we're going to do a number of subcategories, and the first of these is we're looking for the employer with the best gender initiative in Northern Ireland over the last 18 months. We're looking for the best disability initiative in Northern Ireland as well, and we're also looking for the best LGBT initiative in Northern Ireland as well. So these are three brand new categories, so we're very excited about these. These have come as a result of speaking to a number of organisations after the gala, who said that we wanted to go in for the awards, but we felt that we'd done an awful lot of work in one particular area, and is there any chance that you could do an award that is specific to a particular element of the diversity categories. And a final category, and also a new one, is we're looking for the Individual Diversity Champion for Northern Ireland for 2018. So we're asking everybody to think of a single individual that's done an awful lot of great work in the diversity space in Northern Ireland over the last 18 months. And if you know that person and would like to nominate them, then please do so. So, how do you apply? We have all the information online, but we will be emailing it to you later today, so you can just wait for that email and you'll have all the links to the relevant application forms and some more detail there for you. Can I just tell you about the key dates? We have 4 lists that are relevant. We have the closing date, which is Wednesday, the 6th of December at 12 noon. The applications will be shortlisted on Monday, the 8th of January, and we plan to inform everyone who's been shortlisted, and indeed those who have not been shortlisted, as soon as possible after that. So I think you might expect it either the day after or the Wednesday of that week, certainly. The judging panel will be meeting on the 31st of January, and that's an opportunity for them to call to interview various applicants. And as I said, the awards night is taking place on the 23rd of March. Can I just mention about the judging process, because this is really important, and how we do that, the judging, is something we spend an awful lot of time on. We have selected an independent panel of judges. The judges have been chosen to sit on the panel because of their expertise, their knowledge and experience in the diversity space in Northern Ireland. The only instruction they get from Legal Ireland is to find the best candidate and the runner-up candidate in each of the categories. That's all they get from Legal Ireland. And suddenly, this year at the Gala, I didn't know who had won until Sarah Travers had actually made the announcement on the night. We're trying to get a process which is designed to be thorough but fair. We understand that there's not an awful lot of time for people to complete these applications, but at the same time, we want you to have your best opportunity to win the awards and your best chance of that. So we have to try and get a balance of asking for the right information and enough information, but at the same time not making it too onerous. We think we have that balance, and we would hope that you would agree with that as well. The judges, as I mentioned before, may call applicants to an interview. And we feel this is a very important part of the judging process and the integrity of the judging process, because it's important for them to have an opportunity to be able to scrutinise the applications and to ask for further information if they feel they need it, ask for clarification, possibly even some evidence to support what's been put into an application, and that's a very important aspect of it. Last year, just to give you an example, about 80% of applicants were called for interview, and we expect that to be roughly the same again this year. So we can stop there for Q&A and just ask people if you would like to ask a question. Now is the time to do it. Just as we're waiting for questions to come in, can I just go on and mention one or two other issues. Dress code for the evening is black tie or national dress, and we really do encourage national dress because it adds a great amount of colour to the evening. We had some spectacular national dresses represented on the evening this year. We had the Russian-speaking community, they turned out in national dress, the African Caribbean community. There was a number from the Indian and Chinese community in national dress, and they just look fabulous. So we're certainly encouraging that again next year. And just to remind everybody of the deadline, which is the 6th of December, and 12 noon, that really is non-negotiable. So it's important to have that written down somewhere prominent, so that it's not overlooked if you wish to enter the awards. So can I just pass back to Kelly and ask Kelly if any questions have come in? Kelly.
Thanks, Barry. Sorry about that. Yes, we do. We've had a couple of questions that have come in. Can organisations enter for more than one of these awards?
They certainly can. There's no restriction on the number of awards that they can go in for. So if you wanted to enter for best in general category and then best in a specific category, you're very welcome to do that.
And even if they won last year or highly commended, they're still allowed to re-enter again this year and try to get a second year in a row or whatever.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just because you were brilliant this year doesn't mean to say that you can't choose that you're brilliant next year. So you can do that if you want to, yes.
Great, and we'll just take one final one. Can judges take into account the size of the organisation and resources available when judging this award?
Yeah, that's a great question, and thank you to the person who submitted that. The answer to that is yes, they can, and that's specifically written into the judges' rules, and that's made clear on the terms and conditions and also on the website. The idea of that is we want to be fair to every organisation and every size, and to encourage organisations who are smaller not to be deterred thinking, okay, we don't have the resources that the big organisations have, and basically to give every organisation a fair chance. Kelly?
I know we have some more questions that have come in there, Barry, which are very interesting, but I think what we'll do is we'll deal with those on a one-to-one basis and we'll get out and answer those individually.
Okay. I did promise to be brief, and I did promise to be no more than 15 minutes. So I think that's a good place to wrap up. It just leaves me to thank everybody for joining the webinar this morning. Thank our sponsors again, and in particular Diamond Recruitment, for joining us for the event for next year, which I'm sure is going to be fabulous. And to wish everybody in the webinar good luck, and I hope you do enter, and we look forward to seeing you on the night. Thank you very much.